Hello, friends. This is Scott, and I just got back from the hobby farm, and I got to spend 3 nights in parts of 4 days. But this was the first night, and I hadn't even looked at the weather forecast, and I hadn't been down here. I've had a little bit of snow flurries, but nothing that stuck to the ground, and got a couple calls from home that Salt Lake had 3 or 4 inches, and it was coming my way. So looks like we're going to have the first amount of snow that's going to stick to the ground. And again, I haven't been down here for a good snowstorm, so wasn't worried about the drive because I'm going to be here for a few days. But when I woke up, it wasn't a huge amount of snow. There might be 1.5, 2 inches of snow down here, but look how pretty it is down here. I've been stuck inside doing all this painting, and that'll be my next video, is continuing on with that project. But I decided I'd do a video today on the beauty of the hobby farm in the winter. And I want to take a little bit of a tour with you and take a stroll around the property and kind of share with you my vision of what I see in the coming year and years. Now, this is the front yard and just a view of the streets. The city owns a lot of property, kind of between the property, my property, and the street all the way around. On a corner, you can't build anything really close to the corner, so the property looks a lot bigger than it really is. I've got a ½ acre here, and with all the city property around me, it looks more like probably 3/4 of an acre. There's a beautiful old school. It's now a residence. It's not lived in at the moment, I don't believe, but it's a pretty building. I'm going to take a stroll through the yard, and I'm going to show you from my perspective of kind of what I'm seeing. If you go back in my earlier videos from the very beginning, this property needed a lot of work, and it's with the white snow on the ground, it looks like kind of a clean slate. And I've got a lot of work done this year, so I'm not going to sell myself short, but got a lot more to do, and I've got a lot more visions. Now, my 2 apple trees that I planted are right there on the left. And I did the planting beds around the side of the house, but we're going to walk to the backyard. And some of my earlier projects, a closer look at the trees in their protective wire fences, because the deer are out and about. And I'm the first to walk through the snow on my property, other than the cats. I don't see any other tracks, at least in the front yard. So let's stroll through the gate here into the backyard and see what we have to see. First thing, as we see, is the big pile of dirt that I've been whittling away at it. And these are some planting beds along the fence lines. After I put the fences in, I piled the sticks and the dirt and grass clippings, and I have envisioned a pond here, I believe. But I'm going to do a sunken patio on the other side of that dirt mound, so I'll show you a little bit more of that view. Now, I put this 12-foot gate in here, and it's been doing fine. I thought I might need to do a little bigger, but I think 12 foot will be good here. The only footprints in the snow are, again, the cats. I've got 3 cats that live on this property, 2 that I'm friends with, and 1 that's still skittish. So I still have to make inroads with that cat. But taking a stroll around, you can see the green on my back door, and I did clean off all that wood that was on the decking. Now, that was my biochar. It's still sitting there. My pile of sticks from the front. My compost bin that I brought from the school garden. It's a 3-bin compost system, and that's an active composting system. So I will be moving and making compost by aggressively moving material through the bins. Now, here's a look at the back door, and that's where I'm going to be building the sunken patio, and I need to build a retaining wall on that side of the fence. And there's my new trailer that I picked up from a buddy. And I'll be using that to haul lots of materials in the coming year or years. Those 2 tires there were left on the property, and I'll be using that for a project. And I've got all the bark mulch that is buried in snow. And one of the first things I did when I bought the property was throw one of my birdhouses I built up on a post to make it home. So it's still sitting there. It's only been blown down once in the winds here. Now, looking at the back pasture with the white snow, it looks huge, to me anyway. It looks a lot bigger with snow on the ground, I think, than it does with just the green grass or dirt, because I've got a lot of work on the pasture. But here I'm going to envision chickens and turkeys and pigs maybe, and sheep and goats. And I can't have a ton of animals here, but I'm gonna have some animals here and build some shelters and some structures. So I'm still thinking about exactly how all that's going to go down, but that's where my mind is continuing to change on what I really want to do here. Now, I still got to fix a little bit of the fence here So I haven't had to use the gate because I can just stroll right through the fence. But it looks like a pretty good pasture, and I'm pretty excited to have a little bit of property. This is what I've lacked in the city, is I've never been able to grow. I can grow a little bit of everything, but I just can't grow a lot of anything with the space I have in the city. And I'm happy that I have this space. Now, I was going to put a lot of planting beds back here, but since I haven't had open space, I think I just want to leave a pasture for now and put animals back here at least to start with, and then we'll go from there. Now, I thought the beefy boys had went to freezer camp, but they're still here. They just aren't moving around too much. So I did hear them crying one night, and I thought they might have been loaded up on a trailer, but they're still there, so it's good to see them. And as I look back around, I stroll up the side of the yard, I'm headed east. That's my neighbor to the east of my backyard, and there's the alley elm tree in its cage. As I stroll back around, it looks like a pretty expansive little area, and I definitely can see animals in here. And as I talked about with my family growing and my son getting married and having a baby next March, I'm excited to have some animals here and have a little petting zoo for them. Hopefully I have more than one, but we'll see. We'll start with one. I can't be too greedy. This is a view from the farthest southeast corner of my property, looking back at the house. And where the trailer is, I'm probably going to build a workshop. But here's the big tree, shade tree, that the neighbors have. I wish I owned another few feet into their side of the property. It's a beautiful tree, and it is the only shade in the yard right now. And I'm strolling to the northeast corner, and I have a 16-foot gate here. Now, I need to firm this gate up. It's only kind of bungee strapped on here, and smaller animals can get through here, I believe. So I've got to figure out what I want to do, and it depends on how big or small the animals are that I'm gonna put back here. I'm planning on really managing this pasture, moving animals around and controlling where they go. And that's a sunset maple in that fenced-in area there. But I want to move the animals around so I can build pasture and I can keep the parasite loads down and I can manage the grass so I don't have to mow it, hopefully. So it takes animals to help build soil. And I need to bring compost and manures and things and help the soil out. But if I have animals here, they're gonna help me do the job. And a closer look at the sunset maple, and it looks like it's both the trees lived. So I think we're going to be in good shape. We'll have to wait till spring, but we'll see. Now I'm headed west, back to the house, and taking a look at the fence line that I cleaned out with my new hori that I did a video on. And you have a little bit better look at where I'm going to put the sunken patio on the right, and I'm going to put a brick wall with some stairs on the left of that pathway there to the back door. And as I scroll around, again, these tires are going to be for a special project. I'm not going to discuss too much about that yet, but that'll be another video when I have some time. And then I'm going to put another planting bed in here, maybe level this area out with a terrace. My garlic is planted in that big row there, and I'm going to have other planting beds. And there's the big, ugly greenhouse that's going to come down. It's a great idea to have a greenhouse here, but the construction's lacking, so I'm going to just tear it down. And if I do a greenhouse, I'll put it in the back pasture probably somewhere, but I need to get that torn down and get the siding put back up so I'm protecting my plywood underneath. So that'll be an early spring project. You can see the side door where the cats come and go. The cats live in the garage now. They used to have the run of the house, but no more. But you can also see a cat door in the window, and then there's a cat door on the other side, and there's other cat doors. So the previous owners thought the cats were not very intelligent, so they needed lots of ways in and out, apparently. So I think one door might have sufficed, but oh well, it is what it is. Now there's where I put the bushes. I built that bed in previous videos, and this is where the old trailer was sitting. And I've got, figure out what I'm going to do in that side yard. It might be a great place to put a bed in and put squash or pumpkins, just grow some big vining crops maybe to use up that area. But lots of potential. And I didn't mention much about the kitchen garden. I'm going to build some planting beds, and I'm going to put the kitchen garden right in that little cutout by the garage. I'm going to build some raised beds, and because that's the closest planting area to the kitchen, and I think we'll grow our stuff that we use a lot of right there. I'm going to make some firewood out of that willow stump that's sitting there. I'm going to cut it down low, and then maybe put a bird bath on it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And as we scroll around to to the very corner where we started this tour, you get a good look of the house again from the street corner. And even when it's 17 degrees outside, if you get the snow off the driveway, it melts. And it's beautiful when there's not wind and the sun's out. It's just gorgeous to be outside. It'd be a great day to snowshoe or hike. As I was headed out of town, there was one doe that was all by itself feeding between these old majestic trees. So that's the only deer I saw this trip. And it was only about a block and a half from the house. Well, it was nice to get outside because I did spend most of my trip down here inside doing more remodeling. And that'll be the next video, but I thought I'd take a break and I'd take you on a little tour with me. And I'm refreshed from being outside, and I'm motivated again to get back inside and to get more things done the next time down. Getting close to flooring, but I still have another day or weekend of painting to go. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you can follow my vision of what I'm going to turn this place into over time. And if you like what you see and you'd like to continue to follow my journey and living my best rural life in the city and now on a small hobby farm in the country, please hit all the buttons and particularly the subscribe, because that one helps me out a lot. Thank you.